Hi, good evening, madam. My name is Muhammad Sariza bin Samsudin, student ID 2024881236. Today, our group will present our assignment 1 for STA 416. Our topic is Parliamentary Poverty Rate 2024. The purpose of this study is to analyze the distribution of poverty rate across all parliamentary constituencies in Malaysia using descriptive statistical method. First, for introduction, the 2024 Household Income and Expenditure Survey provides detailed information on absolute poverty rate across all 222 Malaysian parliamentary constituencies. National milestone. Absolute poverty in Malaysia dropped significantly from 6.2% in 2022 to 5.1% in 2024. Coverage. The dataset includes 222 parliamentary constituencies across all states in Malaysia, enabling analysis at a more detailed geographical level. Important, parliamentary level data provide a clearer understanding of regional differences in poverty. Why this study? Although Malaysia's national poverty rate has improved, poverty levels are not evenly distributed across parliamentary constituencies. Analysis constituency level data help identify areas with higher poverty rate and support evidence-based planning and policy decision.
Hi everyone, my name is Muhammad Shafiq bin Muhammad Adnan and my metric number is 474188. Now I will explain the problem statement and the research objective of our study. Although Malaysia's economy have improved and the national poverty rate has decreased, poverty is still not evenly distributed across different state and parliamentary constituency. The main problem in that many reports only focus on the national average or mean, while the mean gives an overall picture. It can hide the difference between constituency. As a result, areas with high poverty rate may receive less attention, making it difficult for government to provide support where it is needed the most. To address this issue, our study has three research objectives. First, to organize and classify the poverty data by parliamentary constituency so it is easier compare different regions. Second, to calculate the mean, median, and the standard deviation of the poverty rate. This statistic helps us understand the average poverty rate, the middle value, and how much the poverty rate vary across constituency. Finally, to identify the distribution pattern of the data based on measure of central tendency. This helps us determine whether the data is normally distributed or skewed, and which measure best represent the poverty rate. This objective provide basis of our analysis, which my friend will explain in the next slide.
Hi everyone, my name is Aiman Azad bin Muhammad Yusof and my registration number is 2024451244. And now I'll explain the dataset overview portion of the presentation. So for this study, we used secondary data published by the Department of Statistics Malaysia, or also known as DOSM, through the data.gov.my portal. And the dataset contains the 2024 absolute poverty rates for all 222 parliamentary constituencies in Malaysia, based on the Household Income and Expenditure Survey (HIES). Our dataset consists of three main variables. State and parliament variables are qualitative variables measured on a nominal scale, while the absolute poverty rate is a quantitative continuous variable measured on a ratio scale since it is expressed as a percentage. The table shown is only a sample of the full dataset, since it covers all 222 parliamentary constituencies and comes from an official government source, so it provides reliable data for our statistical analysis. Next, I'll explain the research methodology used in this study. So, first off, we started by collecting the 2024 poverty dataset from DOSM. After that, we filtered the data to include only the relevant records and carried out data cleaning to ensure the information was accurate before analysis. Next, we classified the variables and performed descriptive statistical analysis. We calculated the mean, median, and mode to measure the central tendency of the data, and the range, variance, and standard deviation to measure how much the poverty rates vary across constituencies. Finally, we presented our findings using a histogram and bar chart, then interpreted the results. Throughout this study, Microsoft Excel was used for data analysis, while Canva was used to create the charts and these very presentation slides. So that concludes my part of the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, next slide will be presented by me, Muhammad Afif Wa'i bin Muhammad Mokhtar, student ID 2024603466. This slide presents the results of our descriptive statistical analysis. First, let's look at the table on the left. It summarizes the poverty rates across all parliamentary constituencies. Our analysis shows a mean of 7.41 and a median of 5.5. Since the mean is higher than the median, this indicates that a small number of constituencies with relatively high poverty rates have increased the overall average. The mode is 0, meaning that a poverty rate of 0 is the most frequently occurring value in the dataset. The measures of dispersion show that the range is 41.9, the variance is 50.55, and the standard deviation is 7.11, indicating substantial differences in poverty rates among parliamentary constituencies. Okay, let's look into the chart. The histogram illustrates how poverty rates are distributed across parliamentary constituencies. Most constituencies recorded relatively low poverty rates, while only a few recorded substantially higher rates. This creates a positively skewed distribution with the tail extending to the right. Next, bar chart. It compares the average parliamentary constituencies poverty rate among the state. Sabah recorded the highest average, followed by Kelantan and Sarawak. In contrast, Putrajaya and Kuala Lumpur recorded the lowest average. Based on these findings, we can conclude that the median is the most appropriate measure of central tendency because it is less affected by extreme values than the mean. Overall, these findings support our expectation that poverty rates are unevenly distributed across Malaysian parliamentary constituencies.
Finally, for study conclusion and learning, population and variable uneven distributed across 222 constituencies. Poverty risk is heavily tied to geographical location, which a sharp divide between rural areas like Sabah and Kelantan and urban center. Second, statistical lesson on skew data. Extreme regional value create a positive skew distribution. Thus, the median 5.5% provides a true representation of a typical constituency compared to the mean 7.4%, which is pulled up by outlier. Third, variance factor. Explaining unexpected variance. Variance from expected average stem from regional cost of living differences and data limitation regarding unrecorded hidden household income.